Hi everyone, so today I have a sponsored video for you from Tonic Studios for their new showcase. It's the Decadent Desk Decor die set. Very simple pieces, just whatever you want to layer it with or use decorative papers. Very much what you saw in the intro there in the thumbnail. It makes a desk organizer. Super cute. So these items were sent free of charge for my review, and of course all opinions are my own, and any links on the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission for your purchase items to those links. It just occurred to me, I do have this mounted on the Tonic magnetic mat, and basically as you're working you can just kind of pop your dies on here and they don't get lost, and it even easels up if you wanted it to. I have a whole tutorial or review on that, but I do have it on there today. This does not come with the die set, but I am mentioning it because people ask me about this all the time whenever I present any dies like on this, so I will link it if it's still available on the US and UK sites. It'll be there also. Okay, so yours will come on a carrier like this, depending on what the listing says. It might have a kind of like a binder pocket that you tuck it in. Well, it's like a folder, should I say, like a folder. And sometimes it'll have a plastic case, but whatever the listing says that it's going to have, that's what it will have, okay? So for right now, like I said, I have samples, mine look like this, and that's, what I'm showing you. But yours will be packaged very differently. It'll have inspo and instruction and all that. The basic instructions, right? And then, of course, you can always watch all the different tutorials Tonic will put out with it, and their design team also, or content team. So, we're going to hop right to it, because looking at it here, you're going to have the desk. You can imagine this is the actual portion that makes the back and the bottom of it, so it's about that big. I'll give you a measurement on this guy. So that high, about that big, out this way. You're going to have these guys that kind of help you flesh that out, like the actual casing of it, and then you have dividers, and you have a little drawer if you like, or however you want to arrange it. So this largest die, let me give you a measurement on that, because I'm sure that's info people would like to know. I'm always trying to do that, give you the biggest die measurement in inches. So this is 4 3/4, like exactly, in one direction, and 8 1/8 in the other. So that's your largest die. I don't think this one's going to be any wider. Yeah, it's 4 1/2. So, and everything else is smaller from there. But you do have your basic pieces, right? You're going to use these guys. And I do want you to notice these have like notches and things that you want to pay attention to. Those little notches there are going to end up on your paper. We're going to need to see those when we actually create our items, so that way everything lines up. See, there's some notches here that will be on your paper that you're going to line up with these other pieces. Again, your little drawer, you have pieces for your drawer, you have inlays, these beautiful inlays. You can just use beautiful decorative paper if you want to decorate with, like on this portion, or you do the inlay. Again, same thing here. You have lots of sentiments. Let me see if I can, it's just a note. Where is it here? Just a note. And then that one just says notes. A place for is over here, a place for, and then they all have like a background die too. Scissors, the word scissors, that is so cute. Pens, bits and bobs, we always have a lot of those. That's so cute. And glue. So definitely a desk organizer if you want to use those things, right? You don't have to. So what I'm going to do today, probably so we can talk about the construction really well, is use the the larger pieces that we're going to need, our basic pieces, and then I'm probably just going to use like decorative paper for these inlays, so we can focus on that. But of course with inlays, you have a background piece if you want, and then you have an inlay, like this guy, to run through. Again, if you do use the inlay, you definitely want to tape that down so you have that beautiful inlay design on whatever papers that you use, but you definitely want to tape that, okay? Don't run it through your machine, and if in case it shifts like that, that would not be good. So you definitely want to tape them onto your paper, some washi tape, your Craft Perfect tape, whatever tape you like to use, and run it through. But we're going to use pattern paper today, I believe. And whenever I construct things, I'm always using the heaviest weight paper I have. So, 300 GSM, 110-pound paper is your go-to. If you have to go to, 200, 210, or 85-pound, that's okay. We are going to double these up. Everything is going to be doubled up, basically. So it is going to be pretty thick anyway. But again, just use the thickest paper you have for the construction portion. With the decorative part, you can add whatever you like. But again, a thicker paper is going to give it more oomph, right? So let me see. So our very basic things that we're going to need. excuse me, so you'll need 6 of what they call the large rectangle. Okay, so 6 of these. 2 of them we're going to glue together initially, and then the rest of them we're going to kind of manipulate in different ways. So 6 altogether of those guys. The side corners, which are these guys right here, or this guy, should I say, but you know, with the set there, if you're going to decorate them. They don't have any glue tabs, okay? So you can tell the difference between that and also the size here. But, you know, in the drawing, sometimes if you see something like this, you might think it's this one, but this one has glue tabs. So this guy you need 4 of. The rectangle, which is this guy, you will need 4 of also. The curved middle section. So if you're going to divide it in the middle, which I'm assuming you will, you're going to use this guy right here, and it's called the curved middle section. You need 2 of these. So you're only going to use it once. You know, you have ways to decorate that up. But we have this guy, so we need 2 of this. And then the middle section, which is just basically the portion that's going to, if you have this on the top and the middle, you know, it's kind of rounded. Underneath it, you're going to have another piece that separates like your little drawers or whatever is you might want to use those areas for. So you have that, and then you're going to need 2 of this middle section, okay? So if you can imagine, this goes here, they kind of have glue tabs, it's about the same size of that, but separated, okay? So I will be right back with those basic portions. I like to decorate afterward, but if you like to decorate as you go along, you know, you can do that too. So let me grab some paper, and we will get started. I'm pretty sure this is for the drawer, yeah, these are drawer pieces, so let's just focus on making the actual outer organizer, and then we'll go from there. To the side for now. I do want to let you know that I took almost 6 full sheets of 8.5 by 11 paper, A2 size paper. I'm assuming it'll probably be the same amount of A4 paper. I will say the larger guy, you can get 2 off of 1 sheet, so if you want to run 3 through, 2, you know, on each one, and then everything else from something else. I just did it so that I could fit everything in, kind of like what you saw in the video there. So we have our 6 rectangles. I have 4 of these side corners. I guess I can put them in a way that doesn't look all jumbled. There we go. We have 2 of the curved middle section. We have 4 rectangles, what they're just calling rectangle. There. And 2 of the middle section. And curved middle section, right? So we have those guys. So initially what they want you to do is go ahead and take 2 of the larger guys and glue them together. And anytime you're gluing things together back to back, you are not gluing the glue tabs. So for right now, the other 4 of these guys we're going to do something special with, so we'll just leave them there. With these 2 guys, back to back, we're going to glue them. What I'm going to do is go ahead and kind of mess with my glue tabs. I don't know if these are going to go in or out, but for right now I want to get them out of the way. So I'm going to do the same thing with the other guy. Just score them, maybe score them even with a bone folder, just so you have them nice and squared up. And I'll do the same thing with this other one here. And I will be right back. Okay, so I have those 2 guys. These are the wrong sides, the sides where the die was, you know, on this side, where it's kind of rough on this side. We're just going to glue these guys together, back to back, okay? It does have a tip there, if you know, you're looking at your instruction. I'm going to try to do this in a way that when you look at the instruction, it'll go together. They said to lay these under books or something heavy just so that they'll really stick together. So I get right to the very edge. I always want that to have plenty of glue. And with this one, I'm just going to go up and down like tons of glue. Bring the other guy, kind of give it a zhuzh. This is Nouveau Deluxe, so it does hold pretty quickly once you lay it down, but I want to give it a little bit of a squeeze so that glue kind of goes everywhere. And that's why I scored these now, because you don't want these guys glued together. But I can see that I don't have too much glue, like too much excess, so I'm going to go ahead and flatten that out, and flatten this out. And like it says there, place this under books, under die cutting machine, under plates, whatever it is that you have that's heavy. I'm sure in your craft room you may have some heavy stuff. So just place something on top of this. It's going to keep it flat. Okay, and I do also want to show you how it has little marks that I had pointed out earlier. They're there. So we're going to pay attention to those when we go to glue things together. There are a couple other things I would think we need to glue together right now. Let's see here. Our curved middle section die cut. So we're going to pay attention to these guys. And let's see here. It does say to fold the glue tabs in opposing directions, then attach to this large die cut. So we are going to glue these guys together, though. When you glue them together, obviously they're not going to go one and the other like that. You're going to want to glue them together. So basically that they're facing, right? There's no way to turn that and make it anything different. So okay, so if I have them here, all these glue tabs need to face away from each other, just like we did before, but it's a little bit different on this one since they do face same way, this one, and then this one out in the other direction. Okay. And we are going to glue these two together, much like I did that middle, this large guy, sorry. I'm just going to glue those two together. So again, just like I did before. Right up to that little edge. And it's not too much. You didn't see it squeezing out all over the place, but enough to really get on that, the very corners. And then when I bring it to this guy, just kind of give it a little zhuzh so that the glue kind of spreads out. So you're kind of spreading the glue there. And I mean, it holds on, it looks pretty good to me already. Just making sure those are together. And then again, I can flatten these out and put them again under something heavy, okay? One other thing I'm going to glue together right now is this guy. So again, this one is basically the same shape, so you can definitely have nice sides facing out on both of them. We're going to be gluing these in some fun ways, so, you know, it might be that maybe you do want to turn it the other way. I don't know. For right now, I'm turning the rough side out, the tabs, towards the nice side. Just so when I glue these two together, the rough sides are facing each other, right? So this is the rough side, this is the rough side, and we're going to glue them together like this. So I believe that's the last set of things we're going to glue together right now for this initial piece. And then tabs. So I'm just making sure this is lined up nice and straight, especially up here. I believe that's what's going to be showing more than this back section. So making sure everything's good. Feels pretty good. If you have any extra glue, just get rid of it. But I'm going to go ahead and flatten those out and put that underneath something heavy. Also, I want to see if I need to line up anything else, you know, get anything else glued together at this point. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I'm just being very careful to read this and not glue things in a way it's not supposed to be. So we have these 4 pieces that we are also going to glue together, okay? At the very beginning of your instruction, it tells you to glue everything together back to back, other than 4 of the larger pieces. I believe these we're also going to just use them to cap things off, so I don't think I need to worry about that one quite yet. So with these guys, same thing. I'm taking 2 of the 4 rectangles, and I am scoring them towards the nice side. All of these pieces have pieces that we're going to use. It'll make sense in just a minute because we're going to use these glue tabs to connect them together. But then we have, you know, pieces that are going to help us cover things up and make them look really nice. So there's that. So for these, both these, I'm going to do the same thing with this one, is just put glue again here, but don't glue the glue tabs together. And then at the very top, just again making sure they're exactly the same. Glue tabs are in the same areas, right? It's not one glue tab up here, one down here. No, they should be paired up. So a pair of glue tabs here, a pair over here, and a pair here, right? And I'm going to place this down here just to line that up, making sure this looks nice and straight at the top. And Nouveau already held on. All right. So that looks really good. again, put them under something, keep them flat. I'm probably going to leave these for a good while and I'll be back. So I'll glue these guys together the same way I did that, right? Move the glue tabs out of the way and glue them together right in the center area. And then we're gonna start putting it together. Okay guys, so I did leave these overnight. Let me try to put this stuff elsewhere. And it doesn't have to be left overnight. I just did have the ability to come back anyway, so I figured I'll give them a good chance to really stay nice and flat and do the job for us. But check it out. That feels really sturdy, especially with this paper. It's, you know, 110-pound paper, so it just is going to be super sturdy for us. Okay, so we're gonna start putting this guy together, and then again, if you want to decorate prior to putting things together, I think with this one you're gonna have to do it afterward anyway, because some of your matte layers are gonna want to go on top of this glue, you know, the glue tabs. So it may or may not work for us. I don't know if this one needs to be spread out yet, so I'll just leave this one by itself like that. Okay, so we do have some things to think about. We have these pieces, and then we have all these other ones that we haven't played with yet. This guy has the little marks there, there, and right at the top, okay? And right here. So just straight down the middle, basically, and then just down this area. And they're showing you have your markers to line up with, and we're going to pop this guy on here. These guys. So we need one of these, and this guy is what we're going to attach to this. Okay, so I have it flat like this. Now if you imagine this is the side that's going to be showing, because if this was showing, you would see these glue tabs. So the front of your organizer is going to be like this. This guy's going to be on here. So this nice side facing this way, right? So I have that glue tab at the top and then one on either side. So we're going to glue this way. And then same thing with this guy, we're going to glue it underneath this way so that the nice side is facing this way. Now, what I'm going to do is close up a little bit, and I'll back up as needed because this project's going to start getting bigger and bigger, or taller, really. I have my glue tabs. The ones in the back don't matter right now, but we are going to put glue on here. And again, I like constructing with wet glue because unless you tear it, it's not going to come apart. But if you like using dry glues, that's fine. Just add plenty. So again, I put a lot. It's not like beating up because I don't want it to go everywhere, but I do want it to cover the surface really well. And I'm going to line up that and that, or this with that and that. So the way I can see that best is I'm looking at the little line right here. I'm going to push it down there and then just making sure it's going straight back towards the other one right there. Okay, I mean that looks pretty straight to me, otherwise, you know, I'm using the guides, and that's what they're for. So there you go. You see when I first lined it up here, it wanted to touch over here, and that would have been way off. So just look at that, and then look to see where the little back notch is, and just try to line it up with that. Very good. And then right under that, again, I mean that's pretty much holding on. We're going to attach this guy. So I would need glue here. And you can also do a combination of dry and wet glues. That helps if you want it to grab really fast, but you saw how quickly that grabbed. On this side, same thing. I have a little notch there and here, and I'm going to line it up. And now I'm putting this in the air, but I'm going to line that up first. And then just making sure the very back notch of this one is pretty much lined up there. That's perfect. And since this is in there, I'm gonna kind of hold it and massage it as I hold it. And that's a little bit different than the top one that we were able to kind of push against the table. But just making sure that's lined up pretty well. I'm gonna hold this side first, and then just push down the other side when I'm ready. I'm just massaging this one side. Once that's grabbed, I mean the other side will grab too. And there we have that. Okay, I'm gonna wait for that to set up a little better before I move on. Okay, I'm gonna back up just a little bit. The next part, which would be step 3, as they have it delineated there. So you can imagine these all have glue tabs in the back. glue tabs, glue tabs, glue tabs. Again, perfectly nice and straight in the front. You have a couple other notches. You have a notch right there. And I believe, maybe not. I was gonna say, I don't know if it's on this guy too. Yeah, it's just slightly there. I don't know if you can see this little notch there and little notch there. It's harder to see on the one you had to flip because you had to flip it. So I'm going to line in this one first, and then I'll align the other, you know, little, basically rectangular that we're going to make for our drawer, or just for anything. You don't have to put a drawer in it, on this other side. So we have these two guys left, and if you can imagine, we're going to take this guy, glue one side and the bottom here. On the other side, obviously, we're going to glue the opposite and the bottom on the other side. Okay, so we're going to start with this side, and we're also going to matte layer these. They're going to glue together in a lot of different ways, but you really do want to, you know, glue it down nicely. So again, with this one, I'm just going to open that up a little bit. I'm looking at this notch right here, and then trying to make sure I'm pretty much straight across. So I'll start with this one. That looks good. And then look for this guy, which is actually a little further down, and line that up on the other side. Okay, hold on. Yeah, it's down here and that's up here. I don't know that these line up perfectly well. I'm just going to go with my gut feeling of going straight across. So I'm just going to line that up as best I can. There we go. That's better. And I'm just kind of looking down here and also paying attention to that dot. It is pretty much at the dot. I don't know why it looked so off the first time, but that's where we are. And just right across here, it says align and adhere the two rectangle pieces to the curved middle section of the designated markers and attach them to the large rectangle. Show the glue tabs are positioned with one in each direction to create a secure bond. Meaning one up and one down, right? So that's good. Make sure I have that. And I'm just going to hold this for a little bit before we move on to the next one, okay? We're going to put another one over here. Okay, that's set up. And I will say there's a notch there, but like the notch on this front part is a little bit lower, and the directions do say to marker to line up with the rectangle panel. And it shows it being the one on here. I don't know what this one's for if we're not using it for this. I'm not sure why it's there. So I know I mentioned lining it with both of them. I kind of went with my gut instinct and went ahead and just lined up with this one, especially since that's what it says in the instruction. And this other marker, I'm not sure what it's for. So just, I would say at this point, ignore that one. And now we're going to put glue on the opposite side. Or, you know what I'm saying, for this one. And then down at the bottom also. Or what's the back, I guess. I don't know if it's the bottom. There we go. And so this time, again, because the notch is kind of not there because it's, you know, we had to flip one of the die pieces, I'm going to line it up with that guy first and then just bring it down over here. And, you know, just looking at it to make sure it's pretty straight. It does take a little bit of work to hold this guy down, but once it holds, you're good to go. So maybe concentrate on this part first. Right, so it's perfectly perpendicular, and then I'll deal with this part in just a minute. So there we go, and so it's just like a little bit below that notch that was already there. And looking at it, just want it to be nice and straight, of course. I think just about there looks good. And I suppose if you wanted to take like a ruler and really make sure that you're in the right amount, you know, you can just kind of, like this one marks right there, and if I come down here, it should be marking about the same, and that's about it. So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna let that set up, and this is our main piece, guys. So yeah, so like I said, this is basically it. So you can imagine if you have a little drawer here or just something to place something in, you can place things here. You can have side pieces, and in the back there's areas for things to go all the way down. So you have the whole height of this, so obviously things can stick out, sitting on this, and then two little drawers or just two open areas. Okay, but I'm gonna let this set up completely, and then we're just going to do a couple things to manipulate this back piece and then some cover up pieces, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm gonna put this to the side, and I'm going to pan up just a little bit. Next step is we're going to manipulate these guys a little bit. So we need to keep one piece that's intact, So I'll take one that's like perfectly intact. I had a couple that were just off the edge, so whenever I cut them or use the die, I was just going to trim them up better, but we do have to cut the long tab off, so works out for me. So I'm just lining this up on here, and I'm going to cut off the long tab. You know, you can just use scissors. You can see clearly where you need to cut it because there's obviously like a line there. So we're going to take it off of 3 of them, just the long tab off of 3 of these guys. Now, if I want these exactly the same, I guess I could line this up and see where I was, but it's not that big a deal. I'm just lining them up and cutting off that long tab. And one more. So 1 intact, 3 with the long tab cut off. Okay. I don't know why sometimes my nails just do not pick things up. Okay. So we are going to do something fun with this. It says, take your 4 remaining large die cuts, which is what we did. Trim, you know, the long tab off of 3 of them. Keep one just the way it is. Here, one of these modified large rectangle die cuts to your remaining unmodified large rectangle die cut. It forms the base and back wall of your desk organizer. So we're going to take this guy, and we're just going to glue those together like that. Now I have the nice side facing up. It doesn't delineate one way or the other, so I hope that's correct, but I'm just going to take this guy, put that here. Okay. Actually, I can just lay that down because we're just doing this straight across. And making sure it's just, you know, perfectly lined up. Probably should have scored that score line because that's the kind of thing I like to do first. But I think that's okay. And then we're going to take these last 2 and stick them on the back, just like we've been doing with all of them. I'm going to go ahead and score this just because, like I said, I probably should have done that prior to, because again, see how it wants to come apart. So it's easier to have your score lines done. That way it doesn't really mess with the gluing that you're doing. The gluing that you're doing. There's a nice rhyme. Okay. And I'm going to lay that back flat. Okay, and then we can turn this over. And it says just to adhere these last 2 on. So what I'm going to do before I do that, though, is again, just get these guys out of the way. So these guys coming forward towards the nice side. And I'll turn this back over. Same thing with these guys, towards the nice side. This is very interesting. It's really smart the way they put this together. We're going to put this and this. Yeah, it's crazy. Everything's just going to come together. Okay, so I trimmed, you know, a piece off. There's another piece where I didn't, so I'm just going to put that piece facing up so that it holds on nicely, but we're going to go like this. Just so that the edge that I trimmed, in case it's not perfect, is down towards the bottom. Not a big deal. Really get it on the corners because that's where it's going to show. And you're going to line this up with the top portion. And kind of zhuzhing it like I do to spread the glue out a little bit. And of course I look at the front and see, good thing I checked out the front because that was way off. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, and same thing with this bottom one. Glue all over. And again, kind of zhuzhing up and down. It's going to cover one of those glue tabs, that long glue tab basically. And then just make sure we have the same left and right. Oh, that's good. Look on the other side. Perfect. And I'm going to let that flatten out. So I'm going to let that stick together and get nice and stable for a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. So I will say the instructions just show this next part, but they don't talk about it much other than at the end to add these end caps. So, let's see. I'm just, okay, so this is the piece that we just worked with. If, you know, I don't know if it matters which piece is at the bottom, like underneath, and which piece is in the front, or however. But we're basically going to take this and attach it. Now, you do have those marks, so it's going to help you line some of this up. Other than that, what we need to do is just push all these glue tabs kind of open, especially the ones that are going to be in the back right now. The ones that are going to should be touching the very back. And see how they made it? So it just works. So crazy. Okay. I think we're going to deal with these more than anything. And then let me see. Hold on. I know it's a funny little structure, so I just want to make sure I'm showing you. Those are the drawers. Oh yeah, I guess we can do it this way. I guess it doesn't matter because this is the bottom. You know, this is where the drawers go, and this is the back portion that holds this back portion. So just whatever it is. But right now we're working with this area, right? So I'm gonna pay attention to all of this, this set of glue tabs. So I just want you to look at it because I know it looks kind of funky. Sorry guys, I know I said it looks kind of funky. I want to explain it to you. This is where your drawers are going to be, and this is the tall part where you put like pencils and scissors, taller things. So it doesn't really matter right now. I would say you're just going to put glue on that guy, that guy, that guy, and then this back piece, right? Everything else, you know, you can turn it upside down or the way you need it later. It doesn't really matter which direction you have it right now. But you do want these little guys kind of lined up with one of these notches, but again, they're on both sides, so it doesn't matter. Centerpiece, so maybe that's where we start, right? I'm going to bring this, leave this flat. There's a notch right there and a notch right there, and I'm going to line that up first, I think. So there goes that. And this one, just to line them up as best I can. That looks pretty good. Just making sure I'm at the notch over here again. Let's see, where's that notch right there? Okay. Yeah, that's probably the best way. So I'm going to deal with this one first. I just kind of have my hands there just holding it. So again, lining up the notch here, lining up down here, making sure this isn't sticking up too much from the top, because we want that to look really nice. So I'm really dealing with that one. I'm not using these glue tabs here yet. Like I said, it's not really delineated in the instruction. I do have a little printout. Yours will be full color. It just kind of shows that right there on step 4, but it doesn't talk about it. And then step 5 is just basically finishing off those pieces. So I'm just holding it right now. Like I said, decorating whenever you feel like that should happen. For me, this seems like at the end kind of a thing. Okay. And I suppose at this point I can bring this up. And just, again, you shove a little notch right there. There's one down here, but I'm not going to pay attention to this one right here. And just bring this up so everything lines up with that notch is probably the best. Right there. These other two should pretty much line up. It should just work. So I'm just going to hold that, bring that guy up, kind of pushing these together just to make sure I have something making good contact there. I'm pushing my fingers up against the glue tabs. These two glue tabs right here. I just want to make sure I'm lining it up again perfectly well. There we go. I'm going to focus on these guys. These two. And once I feel like those are really holding on, then I'll kind of come down here and just looking at where that notch is. I don't know if you can see it's right there. Not quite there. So I'll grab this one and move it where it needs to be. Hold on to that. And this one is pretty much where it needs to be. So now I'm going to turn this upside down. Just whatever makes it easier. Hold it there. I'm going to get my hands in there. If you can't get your hands in there, you know, you can grab like your scoring tool. Anything that just helps you just really make contact would be great. I'm just kind of pushing the whole structure down. The two that we didn't really deal with are these two right here. This one, so I can just kind of smash that down. And this one over here. Just give that a little smooshy there. Alright, I mean, that's basically, I'm going to let that sit and set up just a little bit before we move on, but we have all these glue tabs here that are then going to glue to these guys. I don't know if both of these at the bottom, what to really do with those, but we'll deal with that in just a minute, okay? Because there's two, one going down, one going up. And maybe one of those could have just been trimmed off. Or actually this inside one could be trimmed off and then bring this one up. We'll see. I'll get to that in a minute. But I'm going to let this set up. That is our basic structure. Again, little drawers if you want. This area that you can just place things. And then this area that goes down deep like that. So you can hold things in there. Very cool. Anyhow, I'll be right back. Okay guys, so now that I'm here, you know, at the beginning we talked about everything should be doubled up together. These also should be doubled up together. Of course we can't turn one and the other would be, well, I guess we, oh, hold on, we can do it this way. Okay, so that way they both look nice. But what I'm going to say about this is when I go to stick this on, and I mentioned it earlier, you're going to have this extra glue tab, this one. Now you can either push it in and glue it with this other one, but I think before we did any of this, we should have just trimmed that off. It's not in the instruction. I would have loved to guillotine that off, but right now I'm just going to cut it away. Now, again, you can use this one or you can use the inside one. Actually, maybe I should trim away the inside one. That way it's less noticeable and it looks nice and clean from the outside one coming in. Hope that makes sense. This is just something I'm looking at right now. So possibly before you added this last structure, this big panel, go ahead and trim off one of your sets of glue tabs, and I would probably do it for that inside set, like I said. So I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna get rid of this one. I know, I wish I would have seen that earlier and I would have done it earlier, but right now, that's okay. I'm gonna trim that away. This one's a little trickier, but let's get it from the other side. No, this way. The way I was going was best. And it's just those outside ones. You could have also, since we didn't glue these together yet, you could sandwich it, but it's going to be kind of problematic. If you bring this one, glue it, and then, you know, glue it to that one, and then bring this one over, and then this one in, and glue this on top, I think it might cause problems for you. So right now what we're going to do is use these glue tabs, and they're going to go in like this. And I think that's going to look nice and clean. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this opposite side. Again, this is along the long sides. I'm going to cut this one off and cut this one off, and I'll be right back. Just cut those off. And again, these guys can be glued together. I guess I could have done that so that I would have that ready to go. And I'll do the same thing with the other pair. Sorry, I was thinking that maybe at the end you're going to sandwich these or do something else, but no, they just come together. So I'm going to glue the other one together also, the other pair. And then we're just going to stick them on like this. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, this is going to be fun. So what I'm going to do is push these flat so I can get this on its side. And then just push these open. This one this way, sorry. Remember we brought those around from the edge. Okay. And what I'm going to do is put glue, especially at the very tips. Glue especially along the base of this one. Okay. And then we have these guys, and they do have little notches, and so they're telling you, you want to pay attention to the notch, to where these little notch, where this ends up, just so it looks nice and straight and all that. But I'm just going to put that on here. I'm going to push down the very edges, and then I'll worry about the other part in just a minute. So I'm just looking at the very sides, just so that that's lined up looking really nice. Maybe something I'm going to have to hold really well, because it does have a lot of paper in there. That modification we made at the end, cutting off those tabs, which you could have done earlier. Just going to hold that. And now that I look at this, I'll go ahead and kind of make sure it's notched up. But just in a minute, this one too. I can see the little notch on the outside because of the way it's doubled, that this needs to come up further towards the front. Okay. This one looks pretty good. I'm going to hold this just for a second longer and then kind of turn it over so I can show you what that looks like. So it looks something like that. And again, you have the little notches that you can line up with. I kind of eyeballed that and I can see the notches right there, so that's pretty perfect. There you go. Okay. I feel like this one needs to go back even though the notch was there. Just to straighten it out. That looks better. So again, I'm eyeballing that because it just looked better to me for it to be a little pushed further back. So that's that. Okay. Make sure that holds really nicely. And I'll be back. Okay guys, so we have that side down. And basically essentially do the same thing on this side. Just make sure things are lined up. And glue, glue, glue. All in here. Oh, so I'll get it on this side if we don't need it. And all in here. Pretty good amount. And all in here. Okay, and then bring one of our sides over. It's going to help us line things up. Now again, I mean, I think this is pretty much the same. If it's that way or this way or however. But it does have notches, and that's why I was like, well, maybe the other one, I just kind of went with what I think it should be because just in case, you know, that was a notch for something else, I don't know. But for being in the other direction, possibly, or however. So again, I'm focusing mostly on the edges right now. Edge of that. Edge of this. If I really look at these guys. And I'm just kind of looking at the side over here as I'm holding it. I can see kind of what's going on here. And, you know, that looks pretty good. Just holding that in. Okay, and again, I'll just massage and keep it steady and I'll be back. Okay guys, so as I have this, you know, I was just kind of smoothing things, making sure everything's making contact in all the different areas, all inside, all the way down here, and that's kind of how I was flattening it out. So there is the basic structure. Again, just slip things in there or make a little drawer. We're gonna make a drawer just so you can see how everything gets put together, but that is it, guys. So that is your little area. You know, you can pop in whatever fun things you have, tools that need to go wherever they need to go. Very cute, and again, super sturdy because we use some sturdy paper to begin with, and then it's just going to feel sturdier as you decorate it and all that good stuff. So let me grab the things I need for my drawer, and basically you're going to need this cutout, two of this guy, and the rectangle, which I'm assuming is this one. You need two of this guy too. So I'm just going to run them through black paper, 2, 2, 2, and I'll be right back. Okay, so two of these guys, and what I'll do is just pick one, and I'm going to score these guys. And we're just going to create a little drawer that, you know, you just kind of put your finger in there to pull it open. Again, you can definitely score those with the scoring tool if you prefer to really flatten them out. And this guy. And maybe you can tell some are wider than others. So all you're going to do is just glue them onto a base and then cover them up. Actually, if we're going to do it this way, let's do it this way. And then this is going to go on top. So I'm putting the glue underneath. Tab there. Glue it down, just make sure it's not being bothered. Around the edge. So nice side. This is a nice side anyway, but that part doesn't matter as much. And then this guy, and then these guys over here. So I'm just gonna put glue all over, make it easier. This guy over here, and again, making sure your glue tab is not being impeded. The score line looks good. And then this guy, just open it up. That one's pretty good. And I'll do the other side, and then I'll do my adjustments like I normally do. Put that over there. And just making sure that still folds, that folds, this one folds. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna let that sit up for a second, but all we're gonna do is just take these 2 glue tabs and glue them on one side and then glue them on the other. Okay, just gluing these glue tabs in. Just lined up nice and square. Same thing on this side, but I'll give it a minute just so I can use my dominant hand and non-dominant hand. Makes it a little easier. Okay. And then same thing on this side, just a little glue in either tab, and make your little drawer. Okay, and let's place our final square back on here, or rectangle should I say, sorry. And then we have decorating. Like I said, I walked through every step, so what I'm going to do is just use the matte layers and some pretty paper. And we'll finish up our project. So a really nice sturdy drawer, but I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we have our little drawer, and you know, you can make 2 of them, you can make 1, whatever it is, fits in there. 1 for either side, or however you like to do that. And now we're just going to decorate. So I do have this beautiful craft card. I thought this would be really fun. So I'm just going to play with both of them. I have Heart of Gold and Cosmic Vista. It doesn't say craft card on that one, but it's very similar. So I figured, why not? Just for some of the matte layers. And so there's, you know, as you're looking at this, of course we can decorate our drawer. So I have a little pull here, and I'll probably cut that from the heart paper. So just 1 drawer. I'll just cover that. This rectangle that we made our drawer out of will cover this back portion, but also this bottom portion if you want. So I'm going to cut 4 of these at least, probably from the accent color. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, you can cover these guys on the inside here and here. So if you want to do that, or you can just leave it open, I probably will go ahead and cut some of these guys. Again, from the accent colors probably. This matte one, I'll probably cut from the heart. So heart out here, heart for out here. I think that's all of the decoration I can see that is necessary, like where you're seeing it. But I mean, if you want to cover these other areas, that's up to you. So I'll be right back with different pieces that I will be using. I was just trying to look at this. Yeah, no, I think that's it. And then again, I mean, you have the little squares, I suppose, if you wanted them to be like back in there, but I'll be back. So I have the ones that are going to be for like my main paper, and I do want to mention, since we have this one die that does this side and this side, obviously if you want it to be right side facing and looking lovely, just pay attention to that. So like for this one, I was like, okay, I know I need it to be like this, so I put it on my paper like that with the hearts facing the right way, right? So now when I cut it and I glue it down, the hearts are facing the right way. It looks super cute. For this other side, if I did that, it would be backwards, and I don't want to cut it on the wrong side of the paper and then flip it, because that wouldn't be great. It goes like this, right? So for this one, I laid it this way on my paper with the hearts facing the right way, and then I cut it. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense, just so that you have a better go with that. So I'm going to just glue these down, guys. That's the only tip I have, because everything else is basically the same, so we'll glue that down. I have my little front piece for my little box I'll glue down, and then everything else I'm just going to cut and just lay them in here, okay? Just glue them down, so that's what you'll see. So I just finished putting on these little wedges there, and again, as much or as little as you want to decorate, that's up to you. Look at that, super sturdy. I'm telling you, every layer you add, it just feels more and more sturdy. So again, you know, you have all your little words if you'd like. I thought it'd be cute if you put the little words on clippies even. That'd be adorable, so you can kind of move it around. But you know, your tools, your pens, your whatever you want to sit here, your glue bottles. I mean, this thing is sturdy. So I'll try to fill this up and have some pictures for you guys, but those were the basic steps. So thanks for watching. Thank you so much, Tonic Studios, for sponsoring this video. And I'll have the images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box, and I'll see you all at the next one. Oh, you know what? Before I go, let me give you a quick measure. That's what we're here for, isn't it? Okay. 4.5, I'd say, tall by... yeah, about 4.5 inch deep. Again, a lot of these numbers are like, you know, interchangeable. You know, obviously this is open at the top. I can't really tell. Maybe 3.5 inches tall or so. And then we rated the depth, right? Yeah, so it's like 4.5 inches. And then in this direction, I guess that's a new one. Almost 8 inches wide. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one. Bye now. Oh, your little drawer. So cute. So I do have a lot of random stuff right here that this might help me organize. So I'll pop some of these things in here and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so dare I say that is much better. Very cute. Everything that you saw is basically in here. My little like drops. I have some bottles. I had glue. I had my hand lotion in there. Other glues. I haven't put anything down in here yet. But the things that you saw, other than that little pot that had just a bunch of random things in it, is here now. So it looks a lot better.